There isn't a single valid argument as to why Korra is a good avatar. She's the fraud that surpasses all frauds. The LeBron James of frauds. The legendary super fraud. Not only were her skills suboptimal, but she had the worst decision making I've ever seen in any character. If this show wasn't carried by the lore, no one would watch it. I want to let it be known, Korra is weaker than Aang. It's said that the next avatar gains the knowledge of the previous avatar, which doesn't necessarily make them stronger. I'd say Kyoshi and Roku had better feats than Aang, which also implies that they're stronger. One thing many people say is how Korra's villains were stronger, which just isn't true. Excluding Amon, Ozai blitzes the entirety of Korra's roster. Moreover, Korra's fights were rarely serious, meaning none of her villains actually tried to kill her when they had the chance, which is the only reason she was able to live for so long. Amon wanted to keep her alive to revoke her bending at a much later time to send a message. Zahir only wanted to kill her while she was in the Avatar state, attempting to end the Avatar cycle. Vatu was the only one that tried to kill her on sight, and she would have died if it wasn't for Tenzin's daughter. All of Aang's ops were actively trying to kill him one way or another. Ozai wanted to kill him. Azula almost killed him. Combustion Man was hired by Zuko to kill Aang. Essentially, the entire Fire Nation was out for this nigga's head. Yet Aang and his crew were able to beat all of them. Speaking of the crew, many people blame Korra's inadequacy on the people she hung around, which I think is a cope. They weren't the strongest, but let's not act like they were just a bunch of random bums. She had two professional athletes, one that's able to lava bend and the other able to lightning bend, and the CEO of an advanced tech company able to make weapons of mass destruction. Also, I know this isn't a solid point, but whenever people found out Aang was the Avatar, they would lose their minds and pass out just being in his presence. Whenever Korra told people she was the Avatar, no one gave a fuck. In fact, everyone saw her as an easy lick, which she kinda was. Also, the whole I'm not spiritual thing. I feel like people greatly undervalue just how much this stops her from doing her job. The whole point of being the Avatar is to be the bridge between the spirit realm and the human world. That's like King Von saying stop the gun violence. Anyway, this brings me to my next issue. Korra has some of the worst decision making I've ever seen in a character. This prepubescent child that was frozen in an iceberg for 100 years had more coherent thought than this grown-ass woman. And I don't just mean as the Avatar. Just as a person, she made the dumbest decisions. She was belligerent, narcissistic, and overall a terrible person to be around. For example, at the beginning of the show, Tenzin tells Korra, hey, don't go to Republic City. Things are super crazy right now, and it's very dangerous for you specifically since you're the Avatar. Korra says, fuck you, I go where I want. And the very instance she steps foot there, she ends up destroying half the fucking city. Not only alerting everyone to her existence, but also her exact location. This is the attitude she carries throughout the entire show. Hey, don't fight that guy, he'll beat your ass. Fights him and gets her bending taken away. Hey, don't trust that guy, he's up to no good. Nope, I'ma trust him. Bro ends up becoming the evil Avatar and almost kills Korra. Don't open that gate, it was the evil Avatar's main goal. She opens the gate and ends up fucking over the entire world. Her toxic trait of just doing things compulsively carries on throughout the entire show. This is something that isn't Korra's fault necessarily. The writers just didn't do a good job with the character. Nobody likes her, and I don't think it was the writer's intention for people not to like her. Take Azula for instance. She is written to be hated. She tormented Zuko their entire life. She snuck Aang while he was powering up, almost killing him, and she doesn't develop at all. She just descends deeper into madness. You'd think everyone would hate her, but no, she's one of the most loved characters in the whole show. That's because she's well written. Everything she did had a reason. Korra just be doing shit like she has enhanced ignorance. Again, this is the writer's fault. There's this dumbass love triangle that's there to artificially generate conflict because the writers aren't able to naturally create discourse between these characters. Bolin likes Korra, but Korra likes Mako, which creates conflict between Bolin and Mako. Mako likes Asami, which causes conflict between Korra and Mako. Mako breaks up with Asami to date Korra. They fight and break up, causing Mako to go back to Asami. But then Korra loses her memories and thinks they're still dating, so Mako goes back to Korra, which creates conflict between Mako and Asami. Dog, the fate of the world rests on your shoulders. Why y'all so worried about who gets to fuck who? I'm not saying The Last Airbender didn't have any jealousy, but not like this. These niggas were so dramatic. I'm kind of getting off topic. Don't get it twisted. The Legend of Korra wasn't the worst show ever. If you watch The Last Airbender and want to know more about the lore, or just have a fun little watch, by all means, watch it. Just know, Korra will not be as good as Aang, the characters won't be as memorable, and this show won't be as good as the previous one.